Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Stavros Stavroulias and I'm the Arts Undergraduate Recruitment Coordinator here at the University of Waterloo. I was an art student. I graduated a couple of years ago and I did a double major in Communication Studies and Medieval Studies, so I'm really passionate about the Faculty of Arts here. Throughout this video, we're hoping to give you a bit of an idea of what it's like to be a first-year student here at the University of Waterloo. So you'll hear from a current student, you'll hear from an academic advisor, and you'll hear from a couple of instructors, and then I'll pepper in a couple of other little bits of information here and there along the way. And throughout the video, you get to see some shots of our beautiful campus as you're hearing all this great information. In the Faculty of Arts, we have two main entry programs, our Honors Arts and our Honors Arts and Business program. Those are the two that we're going to be focusing on in this video. We have some other ones, our Global Business and Digital Arts program, commonly referred to as GBDA, as well as all of our programs that are offered through the School of Accounting and Finance. But if we're focusing on Honors Arts and Honors Arts and Business, to give you a bit of an idea of how these programs work, in order to graduate from Waterloo, you need to take a total of 40 courses in order to graduate. In both of these programs, you'll have to choose a major. How you choose your major is in your first year, you take a bunch of courses and you officially declare your major at the end of your first year. So what this means is that we typically recommend choosing two different prospective majors to take courses on, and then you decide at the end of your first year. You'll take 16 courses for your major, regardless of what major you choose. You'll also take one Arts First course, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video. If you're in Honors Arts, those are the only requirements that you have to take. So you have 23 remaining courses that you can do electives, take a minor, maybe do a double major, finish your breadth requirements. If you're in Honors Arts and Business, you'll also have to take 14 additional business courses. These are things like some accounting courses, some marketing courses, and resource courses. Basically, it's going to give you a breadth of knowledge about a whole bunch of different things that go on within a business, which leaves you with 9 courses after that for potentially a minor or potentially just finishing up the rest of your breadth requirements.
Hello, I'm Sebastian. I'm in the program Social Development Studies, and I'm currently an Arts Ambassador, and I have been for the last 2 years. So when I think of study tips, I think of definitely finding like a group of people. I personally like studying with others. I feel like usually there is someone in the group, there's someone who loves to teach, and there's the other people who like to be taught. I am the one who likes to be taught, so we kind of like all quiz each other on the different terms, kind of like questions that are possible. I've taken a lot of psych classes, so there's a lot of memorizing with that and kind of understanding concepts. So definitely like group study helps me. But I know there's also people who kind of just like would rather just be by themselves and kind of study that way. So that definitely is a way to do it. I also think like Quizlets are very a good way to kind of test yourself on those type of things instead of just like writing it down. I feel like writing it down is definitely an important part, but having it available to do like flashcards or stuff like that is like something that I found helpful for myself. So living in dorms is pretty cool. You're surrounded by a bunch of students, so that's a super fun thing, especially if it's your first time kind of leaving home. It's kind of like a daunting thing, but everyone there is like there to support you. There's like the people, like the other students, the other first years or even possibly upper years. But then there's also the dons who are there. So they're essentially like your go-to people. If you have like any questions, concerns, they're there for you. They're there to like make sure that you're safe and make sure that everyone else is, but also just for you to have a good time. There's like people around. There's like some events that your dons can plan too. So there's never a lack of things to do. There's always something to do there. There's tons of like spaces, like say with residents or even within campus, but like that are like quiet. I know DP, the Dana Porter Library, they have specific, I think there is 10 floors, and some floors are specifically for group study, some are for silent study, and some are for like quiet study. So there's kind of like a different dynamic and different places that you can go, but then literally like all over campus, there are places to kind of just like relax and study. I think like most buildings you can kind of just like explore and like find a cool spot that some people don't even know about. Thinking of like the dining hall options, so there's kind of like a bunch of different places on campus. So there's some within the residents themselves, but then there's also it's called SLC, so the Student Life Center. That's where we kind of have a bunch of like the big cafeterias. So with that, you can kind of just use your meal plan. on your walk card and then just tap. And for the options, there is a pretty good variety. There's always like some like pre-made meals if you want. I know like sometimes have like sushi or like some chicken bowls. So definitely depending on what you need, there'll definitely be some option around campus. Sometimes you might just have to explore and find some like hidden areas. Like I know there's a ML Diner under the Modern Language Building, ML. Not that much people kind of go around it, so I feel like if you kind of pop your head in there, you kind of see some gems around campus. So yeah.
So how does this program cater to students with different career goals or interests in the Faculty of Arts? The biggest thing that I would say that is really good about our program at Waterloo is that there's a lot of flexibility involved. We kind of talked about that a bit when we were talking about the different programs and how you do it. That flexibility is, I think, a really key aspect that students can come in and find what they really want to do and what really interests them and they're passionate about. Sometimes students come in, they have a really good idea of what they want to do, and that's great. Sometimes they come in, they don't know what they want to do. And so having that first year where they can really test things out is really beneficial for that. Also, the ability to combine a passion in the Faculty of Arts with business in our Arts and Business program is another really good aspect that you can kind of get the best of both worlds in a lot of different ways in that kind of way. Our co-op program is really great for that too, where you get to go out and try different jobs out, see what you really want to do and what you like. So when you graduate, you have a bunch of different experiences and you can kind of say, I really like this one, didn't like that one as much. And it helps you kind of cater a little bit what you want to do after you graduate. How does the program help students transition from high school to university? That's really that Arts First program and that Arts First course that I was talking about a little bit before. That Arts First course, the whole intention behind that course was specifically this, to help students transition from high school to university. So in this course, you'll take one of these courses either in your fall or winter semester in your first year, and the whole intention behind it is that transition. So what's different in terms of writing an essay in university compared to what it was in high school? When you're giving a presentation, when you're doing group work, when you're doing a reading, you'll have to do a lot of readings in the Faculty of Arts. So when you're doing a reading, how are you expected to take out the information you want to take out from that reading? What are your instructors expecting from you? That's really what they're trying to teach you in that course is what are the differences, what are your instructors expecting from you so that when you go on to your second year and onward, you have a really clear expectation of what you're expected to do in the Faculty of Arts. What are the admission requirements? It's really simple to know in the Faculty of Arts. The only required course you need to take in grade 12 is your English 4U course. That's the only required course. Otherwise, we're going to look at your next 5 highest grade 12 U or M level courses. So that could be your history course, it could be your theater course, it could be your biology course. Whatever it is, the next 5 highest grades, and that's going to combine together to make an average with the top 6 grades, one of them being English. So that's going to be your overall average. The overall average that we typically recommend students aim for is in the low 80s. Anything above that, and your chances of getting in just go higher and higher as you get better and better in your grades. What are common misconceptions that students or parents have about studying in the arts? Really, I would say there are 2 most common misconceptions about studying in the arts, and it's kind of almost about studying at Waterloo in general. The first one is that Waterloo is a STEM school, and so why would I come study arts at the University of Waterloo? Really, this is a good misconception in terms of people think this a lot. That's our most popular programs for sure. But our Faculty of Arts is actually one of the largest faculties that we have at the University of Waterloo. It's always tied or a little bit below second. It's either at second or a little below. So it is a really popular faculty. We have a lot of really great research that goes on within the Faculty of Arts. There's a lot of really great students that come out of this program. But obviously the more flashy programs are things like our engineering and math programs. But there's a lot of really great things that you can do in the Faculty of Arts. And it's a really big faculty. The second most common misconception is that students at Waterloo don't have any fun. I would say that is entirely untrue. I was a student at Waterloo. I had a lot of fun as a student. But what I typically tell people is that in order to make sure that you're having a good time at university, it's a little bit different than it is in high school. You need to make sure to put yourself out there a bit more than what you maybe had to do in your high school. There's over 200 student-run clubs. The Faculty of Arts runs events about once a month for students to come and engage in. There are intramural sports. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do, but all of these require you to go to the club meeting, to go to the event. And no one's gonna come knock on your door and say, hey, make sure you come to this thing. So it's really up to you to put that effort in there. But if you do, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do There's a cheese club where students gather around and eat cheese. There is a whole bunch of different dance clubs. There's a cappella singing clubs. I was a part of a science fiction and fantasy club where we read different books and talked about them once a month. So there's a whole bunch of different things you can do, but it does require you to maybe get out of your comfort zone a little bit. What types of students tend to thrive in this program? Really, I would say the students that really tend to thrive in the Faculty of Arts are students that are coming in with a sense of open-mindedness and that are interested in taking a bunch of courses about a bunch of different things. So although you will have your major, which is where you'll be taking the majority of your courses, there are also breadth requirements that you'll take that will allow you to kind of explore the variety of things that we offer in the Faculty of Arts. We'll have a link in the video of this description that will direct you directly to our breadth requirements video where you can get a bit more in-depth information. But like I say, you'll get a lot of information, knowledge about the faculty by taking your breadth requirement courses. And having that open-minded view, I think this is a really good way to come in and learn about a lot of different things that, again, you might not have been exposed to in your time in high school. How do minors and double majors work? So we talked about majors and how a major is always 16 courses. A minor in the Faculty of Arts is always 8 courses. So it's really easy to kind of look at the different minors that we have and see, okay, if I take these 8 courses, I'll have a minor in this thing. A double major is a little bit different. You have to take 16 courses in one major, 16 in another. Sometimes, depending what majors you're interested in, some of those courses will cross over. And so you might not have to take a full 16 in both things. In my case, I did double major. I majored in communication studies and medieval studies. Both of those majors are completely different from one another. So I had to take 16 courses in communication studies and 16 in medieval studies. So that's 32 out of my total of 40 courses. So it does require you to be a little bit more specific in terms of planning which courses you take, and you'll have to make sure that you're meeting with your advisor to make sure that you're taking all the right courses at the right time. But totally something that's possible for students to do. It's just something that requires a bit more planning and intention if you want to do that.
Hello, my name is Amy and I am the Student Engagement Coordinator with the Faculty of Arts, and part of my role is to host stress busters for students during their academic terms. These usually happen twice a term. Some examples are bringing in therapy dogs, we've made slime, we've done bubble tea and board games, and there's always something going on campus and ways to get involved within the faculty. So just keep an eye out on your emails and hopefully you can come hang out, have a snack, and come see our lovely team.
Hi everybody, my name is Andrea West. I'm one of the first year advisors here in the Arts Undergraduate Office. I help advise students with last names A through L for anybody that's in Honors Arts, Honors Arts and Business, and the Social Development Studies program. So, are there opportunities to double dip courses to fill multiple requirements? The answer to that question is yes, there is. What we call this is double counting. There are rules and guidelines to follow in regards to that. But typically, if you're pursuing a major, for instance, in English, but you're pursuing a minor that also requires a specific English course, that course can count towards both the major and the minor. Another opportunity where you're going to see this kind of like a double dipping is students who in arts have to complete the arts breadth requirements. These requirements are at the degree level, and so when you take courses towards your major or your minor, some of those courses will help to fulfill the arts breadth requirements as well. If you're ever in doubt and you're not sure, please just reach out to your advisor because we're glad to help. What averages do you need to maintain while you're in your studies at the university here in the Faculty of Arts? So if you're an honors arts student, in your first year, you're going to have a couple different averages that you need to be aware of and that you want to try and establish and maintain. The first is going to be your Faculty of Arts cumulative average. This average is made up of all the courses that you take that are offered by the Faculty of Arts. It'll include any courses that you pass, and unfortunately, if you happen to fail a course, it's going to be included as well. You want that average to be 65%. You'll also have an overall average. That's a 60% cumulative average, and it will be all courses that you take that are offered by the university. So that would include any courses that you potentially take, maybe from the Faculty of Science or the Faculty of Health. Those would go into your overall average. Finally, the other average for honors art students you need to be aware of is your major average. So that's the one you're going to be working towards to establish your major so you can declare it at the end of the first year. That one typically is a 70% cumulative average. So again, the course that you take in the fall and the one you take in the winter, you want them to average together to be 70%. For arts and business students, you have those same 3 averages, but you have one more to consider, and that is your ARVIS cumulative average. That one is also a 70%. So again, the 2 courses that you take in the fall, along with the 2 courses for arts and business you take in the winter, you want them to average to be 70%. So as long as you're meeting these average requirements, you'll be in good standing. If averages are below, you'll be in what we call conditional standing. But if ever in doubt, just reach out. We're here to help. If they're undecided, what strategies can students use to explore the different majors in arts? So there are a few different ways that we encourage students to explore the different majors in arts. One is when you do course selection in your first year, we do encourage you to take courses for a couple different majors. We call these prospective majors. We have handy little charts that we provide students so that you can actually look to see which course is recommended for which major in the fall and the winter terms. So that is one way. Another way is during the declare your major process at the end of the first year, each of the departments will offer either drop-in advising or information sessions that you can attend to learn more about their majors. Quite often you can meet with the advisor, you can meet with upper year students, or you can even meet and speak with faculty about some of the specific courses. The big thing to remember is you're never locked in. So even when you declare your major at the end of first year, if you start taking courses in second year and you find you don't enjoy the major that you're in, just reach out. There are ways to take courses and move to another major during your studies. So there's always an option available. How often should you meet with your academic advisor and how do you schedule appointments? So that meeting with an academic advisor is really up to each individual student. Some students may find they want to check in once a term. Some students may find they want to check in once a month. Ideally, just make sure you reach out. If you are looking for information on campus and you don't know where to start, come to us. We know a lot of people across campus. We have, our own network of colleagues that we can tap on, and we can help get you pointed in the right direction for the different supports and resources. As well as connecting with us, if you have questions about your academics or courses or anything like that. So the bottom line is, whenever you feel you have a question or a concern, or even if you just want to check in and make sure your course planning is on track, we're here. So if you need to book an appointment with us, you can reach us at Arts Advisor, so ARTSADVIORS at uwaterloo.ca, or you can check out the Arts Undergrad webpage. The link will be below.
Okay, so my name is Dr. Shannon McDonald, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Communication Arts. Are there opportunities for hands-on learning in classrooms? Absolutely. In the Faculty of Arts, we're really excited about mixing sort of textbook and more structured learning with types of experimentation that are hands-on. In my classes in particular, I like to mix a little bit of art making and kind of creative processes to help make sense of some of the more complicated ideas we work with, and make it kind of ring true for you by you making creative projects. That can take a lot of different forms. Often in my courses, I encourage people to make zines, which are like little mini magazines that you can trade and share with your friends. So it's a nice condensed way of exploring an idea and putting your own unique spin on it, and my students actually have a lot of fun with it. I think it's one of the biggest resources you have is to try and get to know your professors and your teaching assistants, because we're there to help you learn. That is our goal, and that is our joy. It's the joy of our profession. And so, make an early rapport with your professor, get to know them, let them know what your name is, what your interests are. Same with your TAs. Obviously, if you have any questions or things that are making you nervous about the class itself, they're the right people to go to. It never hurts to send a nice professional and quick email, or to save up your questions for class and ask them during question period or perhaps at the end of class or beginning of class, and build a nice rapport. If your professor has office hours, or your TA has office hours, make good use of those. People don't use those enough. And I do tend to find that the people who do come into my office hours, ask questions, get clarifications, that they're not nervous when they're doing their assignments, they tend to do really, really well in the course overall. So I think that professors here at the the University of Waterloo and in the Faculty of Arts are very accessible. We love teaching, we love getting to know our students, and so just take that first leap, even though it's scary, and come and introduce yourself. What do I find most rewarding about teaching first-year art students? I think that incoming students have a lot of energy, and I love that. You aren't tired yet by the grind of the semester system. You're hopeful and engaged. You've brought some really good skills with you from high school, and now you're ready to learn and do this next phase of life. And that's a really, really great place to meet you at. I think that you're also very excited coming in because now you get to be treated truly as an adult and an independent thinker in a way that you get to form your ideas. And this is a place where you're going to be making ideas that will probably follow you for the rest of your life. And so it's a really, really special and transformative moment in your life. And I really love being a part of that and being able to have conversations with you and make you feel comfortable as you work your way through difficult concepts, challenging issues, and find your truly authentic place to stand within all of that.
Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you learned a lot about the Faculty of Arts and what it might be like to be a first-year student here at the University of Waterloo. There'll be a bunch of different links to other videos you can go watch to learn more about the Faculty of Arts in the description. And if you have any further questions, you can always email us at arts@uwaterloo.ca. Have a great day.